start at the beginning. Tell me about how you got interested in weather.
So I grew up as an Army brat, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And when I was in high school, I took Air Force ROTC and actually thought I was going to go into the service because my dad was in the service and, everybody near base, everybody was doing their thing, it was generational. So I took Air Force ROTC and I had two instructors that were both pilots. We called them, one was Sarge and one was Colonel P, and both of them were ex-pilots. So instead of teaching us just the regular curriculum, they would go on base and they would get flight plan paper, instruments. They would talk about aeronautical engineering, but they would actually have us map out our own flight path from point A to point B. And it seems so exciting. So much of that, when it comes to aeronautical, so much of it has to do with the weather. So I said to myself, then I'm like, wow, this is something I've never been exposed to and would not have been exposed to had it been for the two of them kind of thinking outside the box with their teaching. But I said to myself, I really love this idea of studying the atmosphere and the weather. And I think I want to pursue something that has to do with weather, maybe designing airplanes, maybe just forecasting for weather. So that really is, that would have been my first year in high school.
So then
And
you went on to get a degree in meteorology from UNC Asheville.
from UNC Asheville, go Bulldogs!
Yay! So at that point, did you think, oh, maybe TV's where I want to head, or was it still kind of not
Not
a
at
thought in
all.
your brain?
See, I was the shy kid in school. So in the beginning, this whole idea of forecasting and doing research and maybe doing more climate and weather research, that to me was great. I could be behind something and then kind of dive into the data and dive into the numbers. But it wasn't until my junior year in college, second to last year, a friend of mine was doing his internship, Johnson City, Tennessee. Shout out to the wonderful Mark Reynolds, who is still chief there, just capturing the entire market of Johnson City in the tri-state area. He was so phenomenal, helping me, kind of guiding me as a young student to say, look, I know you're shy, but this thing of delivering the weather, just remember what you're doing, who you're doing it for, that this is for people who are just like your family. Remember, you're just talking to them and delivering whatever that message is of the forecast of the day. It really isn't that hard. And he kept kind of hitting that home with me. Look, it's not that hard. You don't need, doesn't matter if you're shy. So that's the one thing I kept in mind in the beginning. Sure, it was very nerve-wracking to begin with, but I overcame it just for the sheer fact that I remember that it's all about the message, right? If you have put together the best forecast possible, that delivery part will take care of itself because you're just telling them what you already know.
So
Great internship, Johnson City, Tennessee. From there, I went on to get a job at Fox 45 in Baltimore. Actually, let me take a step back. I was fortunate enough to get the job at the Weather Channel, which lasted for 3 years. Never got the internship there, but got the job there. It then went on to work at a great station, a startup, Fox 45 in Baltimore, Maryland. And of course, a lot of great stops after that.
Yeah, a lot. So at that kind of early stage of your career, in a field that's very much still dominated by not only men, but white males, were you kind of an anomaly? And how did that impact your growth over those years?
I was big time an anomaly. There were very few, even when I studied at Asheville, North Carolina, there were very, very few people who looked like me. I would say zero. So it was really hard when I had that challenge of being able to get through thermodynamics, to get through calculus, 3, and some of the harder subjects. I didn't feel comfortable asking just anyone. So I did take it upon myself, struggling to even ask the professor sometimes. I took it upon myself to use my own money, working 3 and 4 jobs in school. I took it upon myself to use some of that money and get myself a tutor because I never really had a plan B. I had one plan. The plan was to get this degree in atmospheric science and to make it work, whether it was going to be in research or eventually on air. So yeah, I struggled in a lot of subjects in college, but I was hard-headed enough and determined enough to want to make it work.
And throw into the mix of all this early career stuff, you became a mom, correct?
Correct. Yes. So I worked from the Weather Channel. I worked at Fox 45. Then I went to New York City, WABC. And about my last year there, a lot of people asked, well, why did you leave New York City? I mean, it's New York City. Well, I could not see myself raising a family there. My income was not at the level to be able to have all the comforts that I think I needed and what I would have if I were living in more of a mid-Atlantic or a smaller market kind of city. So I knew that I wanted to start a family, and I didn't see myself doing it where I'm living in New Jersey because it's less for rent and driving into New York City every day. Sometimes you do have to make the hard decision of taking a step back to take several steps forward. That has been something that I even tell my kids to this day. You've got to, what's the plan? And if you don't think you can get there going this way, it's never about going this way in life. It's this way. And sometimes even taking a couple of steps back, it's perfectly fine.
Is that something you've had to remind yourself of when it takes a little longer to get places than perhaps you imagined?
Absolutely. I think though that's the stubborn Taurus in me too, that I'm going to sit here and I'm going to sit here a while and I'm going to sit here patiently, even though I'm not a very patient person. I will be patient for the things that I think is important in life. So yeah, this took a very long time to get to this point of being chief in a market that I have worked so long in. So 37 years in the business, a little over 25 years in this market of just DC. That doesn't include the time that I did in Baltimore, which was another 6 years. But so much of my time has been spent here. And Emily, I cannot tell you just the overwhelming outpouring of comments that I've gotten from the people in this market really has surprised me.
How so?
Everyone so supportive, saying, "Oh, finally, I'm glad that you're there," which means that now, now I have to work even harder than I was before because I need to make sure that I'm delivering every single day 150%.
It sounds like a lot of pressure.
It is, but but you know what? Because I am now older, I know how to handle the pressure better. It's like, okay, this is important. This is not important today. So I'm going to push this to the side and I'm going to put this at the top of the list. And one of the things my husband reminded me of this morning, he said, wow, because he wrote in with me and he was listening to all the calls I was doing and all the emails I was sending. He's like, you women are really good, because there was a call that I got from another lady in a different department. And he made the comment that you guys are really great at multitasking and doing it effortlessly and then moving on to the next thing.
So you're a first. Can you tell me kind of what you're the first of?
And the first African-American chief meteorologist at WJLA in 75 years. That is huge. There's some research that I know that's going on today for an article that may be coming out in the Washington Post. And truly, there's only been a handful of African-American, of Black female chiefs across the country over the years, which I truly thought when I started out in this business that really there would be not only more females, but there would be many more minority females to this point. I mean, again, when I started in this business, it was nearly 40 years ago. And, you know, here we are still going, okay, there's only a handful. And that is why I think it is so key that this position that I'm in, that I make it a point not just to be on the air delivering the weather, but being out in the community, making sure that people see me, making sure that that everyone of every color sees me, especially the kids, so that they know that they too can be in a position like that, so that they work hard to be in a position like that. I'm just trying to open more doors to have more opportunity for people.
Does it ever get frustrating being a trailblazer? Do you ever get to the point where you wish somebody had done that before you, or that we had gotten there before this? That 75 years is a little too long to get to that point.
It is too long, and like a lot of things, it's not just those of us who are, for lack of a better word, the odd person out, right? It can't be just us. It has to be everyone addressing what the issue is. Everyone. So I didn't get here to this position on my own. I got here, quite frankly, a lot of men who are, you know, a lot of men who don't look like me, who are white. And these are the people who helped to get me to the position where I am today. And they realized early on that whether it's weather and climate or just the field of sciences, we need more women of every diversity to be part of taking a look at the bigger picture, addressing what our issues are. We need more people sitting at that weather and climate table. And I am so fortunate to have known people like Bob Ryan, who was huge in this market in Washington, D.C., Matt Parker, who served on many different committees within the AMS, American Meteorological Society. He was very key in pushing me to do more, not just with what I do on air, but again, within this realm of folks who are in science and research and serving on those committees, because there's so much more than, again, what we do on the air.
Any advice, words of wisdom to girls, boys of all shapes, sizes, backgrounds that want to go into weather?
And it's the same advice that I'm giving my grandkids today. And that is, anything that you want to do it. Look for your resources, people who can help you. And again, if it's something that you truly, truly want, continue to work hard at it. There are going to be times when you're going to be frustrated. There are going to be those days when you feel like you're not good enough. It's okay to take a minute, a beat to rest, but don't stop running toward your goal. And that is key. Sometimes it takes 37 years.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. We love you. We're proud of you, and we appreciate all of it.
Thank you so much, Emily. Thanks for everything you do with the National Weather Desk.
Thank you, Veronica. You're awesome.